Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's What's Up Wednesday interview series. If you're new here, we meet with guests from our network and share resources and feedback out to the industry. Today, we have Sara Gibson with us, who's the CEO and co-founder of 20 Degrees, and she's going to be going over all kinds of things regarding their COVID-19 toolkit and the importance of that to the ECE industry. So, hey, Sara, welcome, and thanks for joining today.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So, to kick us off today, just briefly explaining your role and how long you've been with 20 Degrees.
Yep. We founded 20 Degrees just over 3 years ago, although I'm starting to think that 2020 and the first part of 2021 really counts for about 5 years.
Agreed.
So, yeah. And we set out with 20 Degrees. Really, the goal was to reimagine how nonprofits and social enterprises, which is how we really think about a lot of childcare providers and centers, we know that they go across the full spectrum of legal structures, how they can and should be funded. So that was perfect. That was our original envisionment.
Yeah, that's a great goal and overview there for that. I know it's a jack of all trades kind of thing, but helping everybody all at once with the same goal in common. So just to get right into it, what is the COVID-19 toolkit and kind of how is that beneficial to the industry we're talking about today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if I go back just a nudge. So
yeah, go for it.
Absolutely. At 20 Degrees, we do three things, and this is where the COVID-19 toolkit came out of. We work with nonprofits and social enterprises on financial resiliency. That work came directly out of COVID-19, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment.
Sure.
And two, the second thing we do is we help organizations develop single new lines of earned revenue. And then the third thing we do is work with organizations. We call it our revenue renovation work. So we say what got us here won't get us there. And so we help people make sure they have the right mix of funding. There's a lot of different ways to resource change. So we look at everything from contributed income, individuals, foundations, as well as helping people figure out what's the right mix of non-contributed revenue, like the earned revenue. So, but to the COVID-19 toolkit, where that came out of is, as to kind of quote Hamilton here, we wrote our way out. As we think about how much has changed, gratefully, with vaccines and, the science, every STEM program out there, we owe a great debt to. But when the beginning of March, end of February was coming, we sort of had a sense that something really devastating was coming our way. And we just started writing. I had the experience of living through as a fundraiser September 11th here in the Washington, D.C. region. And what I wanted more than anything was just someone to tell me what to do.
Right.
I was a young fundraiser. I was alone. Of course, I did have an executive director and all of that, but it stayed with me all these years later that two of my colleagues were laid off. That sense of safety was shattered. Travel halted. There are a lot of things that were very similar. And, these years later, what we set out to do was to create a document, a step-by-step guide for people who we imagined, and leaders, we imagined were going to be alone. I don't think we imagined the aloneness would look the way it did. It was long. And also naming, too, that for the early childhood sector and childcare providers, it wasn't the isolation that many of us felt because all of you were back in the front lines so quickly. So that I think there's a different type of trauma that this field has experienced. So what we did was set out to say, what would a leader looking at the news and their staff and their budgets need? What could give a little bit of oxygen? So we just started writing. So we started with our blog, and we started with our contingency planning framework. And it was scenario planning. It was how to build a team. Who do you need around you? How do you start to get your exact position, your financial, what do you need to establish where you are, how to move forward? The tools that we have used to imagine moving forward, our strategic planning tools were not adequate for this moment. Frankly, we've kind of known that all along, but it was enough. but we needed something faster, and we used this as a moment. So that's what we did, and it was really successful. We had 10,000 hits on our website for the pieces within 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
It turned into a number of programs and cohorts because we know the grown-ups, just like our littles, we're investing in groups. So we really worked with that. The Richard and Nancy Marriott Foundation funded a pilot that turned into a larger group. We then worked with another partner, a nonprofit Montgomery, to roll this out to early childhood providers beginning in December. So we really, but at the root of it was this work that came early in COVID.
That's incredible. That's crazy that, yeah, kind of everybody's, like you said, yeah, we all work as a team together. That's where we're kind of most beneficial. So is there a cost for people to access that? Kind of where can that be found, or can they even print that and download it? How's that work?
Absolutely. The COVID-19 Toolkit is free. In fact, we just updated it this week. What we learned is that the process is even more necessary right now. There is abundance right now, which is a time where we might not think to plan as carefully, but we should plan 6 times more proficiently and carefully and alongside people, because this is a moment that we will regret missing. So this is definitely a moment, but it is absolutely free and you can continue to follow it. What we do have is a more specific one for centers and one for family childcare providers that we do offer, and that is a paid program that we do offer, but it is accessible.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. So just kind of speaking on 20 Degrees in general, where can people go to learn more just about you all, what you do, and if they have any questions, kind of who can they reach out to about this and the toolkit in general?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, you can always email me. I'm Sara. I'm Sara, S-A without an H, S-A-R-A at 20degs.com. And on our website, we really try to keep that up to date, as well as our LinkedIn profile, and also just a little bit more of the background so people know, like, who is it that they're reaching out to. The work that we bring together, I'm a co-founder, and that was very intentional.
Sure.
So there's me, and my background is that I was always in the nonprofit space. So my job was to find the resources for organizations, and I worked at big organizations and small organizations, including a high-quality early childhood provider. My co-founder, Tom Bartlett, who's tremendous, he was a funder, including the experience of funding the early childhood sector, leading collaboratives. He's also an engineer, so really brings a very systematic mind.
Awesome.
And yeah, so it's really, and we also, our team, it's not just us. Our team, we always look for people who bring a both and. We have entrepreneurs and artists and people who can really bring very different perspectives to this work, and collectively we really seek to help and work alongside and co-create with our colleagues. We see everyone as community and really work hard to partner. So not just with our clients and with the sector, but also, folks who are doing advocacy. And we see this is a moment where we can reimagine everything. We don't want to miss it. So you can reach out to us. To any of us. We're on the website, and we're certainly active on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, so any of those options.
Yeah, and I'm sure that toolkit is a plethora of information, so that'll be very helpful for any of our network watching today. I will include that link down in the comments and the description wherever you're watching this video, and the planning guide that we had discussed earlier. But yeah, anything else you want to share? If you want to share final thoughts, resources for our network, really kind of anything else. If you want to share a billboard slogan that you want the world to know, literally.
Yeah, a couple quick things. One, if you're looking at the COVID-19 Toolkit, the order I would read it in was 1, the contingency planning guide, 2, the cash flow model. I always wanted a model, and I didn't even know I wanted one when I was working in nonprofits. It is such a tool of understanding our financial position, and most of us never moved beyond budgets. I don't know why. And then 3 would be the operational planning guide, and those are the order that people use them in. They're all there, so that would be the order. 2, I just offer a bridge, a hand, whatever the case is, that we just have a moment. And when our team was coming together to really discuss this moment and this conversation, we've never had a moment like this to partner. And how do we really make sure that we're centering providers and not living in scarcity ourselves, we always run the risk of repeating mistakes. And how can we use this moment to just reimagine it for families, for children, and also for the women who we know have been on the front lines, not just since the early days of COVID, but since before then. I think we have a moment that we will look back on, and I think we'll do the right thing. And we are certainly here to partner in any way, shape, or form. From collective impact to shared services to we have all, I don't know, I always say we have a big toolkit. When he wants to bring a screwdriver or a hammer or,
Yeah.
I don't know, or a 3D printer, we've got it all. We just like to work in partnership. We never want to do any of this work alone. And then the third thing offers a bit of whimsy. Whenever we do our cohort work as a graduation present, we always offer a song. And at the height of COVID, the song we were offering was called the Keep On Going song. And for our most recent cohort, we offered A Beautiful Noise by Alicia Keys and Brandi Carlile. But as I was thinking about this work, I thought, well, what is this community who is just really coming together and finally with some resources and with the attention of the country and frankly the world looking at what we all co-create. And I was thinking about the song We Shall Be Known. And the song was We Shall Be Known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. And I thought that really encapsulates the early childhood community. So our contribution at this point is financial resilience. We want to be in spreadsheets. We'll do that part alongside whoever it is necessary we can do it with. We show up with deep gratitude for all the work that's been done. And thank you to everyone out there who's been in whatever slot we've all been in along the way. So
they've been patient, resilient, and they're just going to keep going from here.
Yeah. And my summer tip for everyone is 20 degrees is the ideal angle to skip a rock on water. So when you actually get outside, the ideal angle for the rock to hit the water is 20 degrees to get the longest skips.
That was news to me, so I learned. That's incredible. Thank you so much, Sarah. We'll chat soon. I'm sure we'll be in touch. We'll see everybody next week. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye.